phone to make sure it's plugged in. Okay, let's see if it's popped up. Let's see if Facebook's doing its thing. Okay, can I see it pop up? Let's have a look. Oh, I haven't seen it. Yep, we're live. Love that. When it all works. Nice. Beautiful. All right, I'll get out of that and back into Zoom. Alrighty, so welcome everyone. This is the Ripple Effect of Resonance, an interview series where I bring on lots of different people from all sorts of backgrounds and stories to come on and share their story about how this frequency device has come into their life and really the impact that that's had on their life, but then also not only that is what's been the ripple effect or the impact of that shift in themselves, how that's impacted those around them, what's been the ripple effect from that change in what's happened in their life. And so today we've got a really beautiful guest coming in from Tasmania, I think Hobart, Tasmania, who's coming in and sharing a really unique story. And I just want to preface this by saying that we are going to be talking about the Healy device, and the device itself, we need to be compliant. And so Healy doesn't claim to cure, treat or heal anybody with any condition. But this is Anita and this is her personal story. And she's come on and really just going to share about how that's impacted her life and what's been going on for her. So thanks so much, Anita, for coming on and being here and being willing to share what's been going on with you.
Thank you. It's such an awesome opportunity to come on here and share my joy with everyone and spread hope too. I've spent the last decade in a lot of darkness, pretty much. I was diagnosed at 37 years old, 2011. So nearly 10 years, and I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS to begin with. But I never experienced any remission at all. So I went straight downhill right from the get-go.
Right.
I had no remission whatsoever, unfortunately, and it was looking pretty bleak. It was quite a scary time because my father died of this illness when I was only 19.
Okay.
He was 47 years old. And he committed suicide because his disability got very, very bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we might go into just understanding, life prior to that diagnosis. So obviously you say that your father had MS and then obviously subsequently took his life. So do you want to just tell us about, your journey around those years and just, did you know that there was something that was, is it hereditary? Or for people that don't really understand MS, it would be great to really just understand how it happens or if there's any signs or, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Well, I've always been told by my neurologist, by the specialists, that it isn't hereditary.
Okay.
But they'll also say within that sentence, but it may have a hereditary component. So, it's hard to say either way, really. I didn't have any symptoms at all until quite a major traumatic event.
Okay.
And then looking back over the years, I had little symptoms here and there, but they'd only last a week or so and then they'd go, so I didn't think much of them. And so it's really hard to say because I was very after losing my father, I threw myself into work and got married young, had children, and I was a waitress, working 10-hour days, 6 days a week, pretty much.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
running a household and, you know, raising my children and just working flat out. And it really wasn't until I had a bit of a traumatic event around my oldest son leaving home that things really went downhill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry to hear that that's happened in your life.
I think trauma has a lot to do with these kind of illnesses. It can be, you know, a trigger.
Can it? Okay. Do you think this was the trigger for you, for it to
for
have
myself? Yeah, for myself, I think so. There was a lot of other stuff going on at the time too. So I think for me personally, it was the trigger. Yeah.
So so to play it back, so you're 19 years old and obviously had to grow up in an environment where your father, had MS. So how did that impact you even through those years? How was that experiencing it as a child?
Well, it happened when I was, I had just left home. When my father had started to get quite ill. He'd only just been diagnosed and then he went downhill very quickly. And I had just left home and had moved in with my husband and was starting my family. So, because I got married young and so I was, I wasn't living at home to experience it firsthand.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And so then that happens, I can't remember how many years you said, but, a few years down the track, obviously it becomes so overwhelming with it. And we don't need to go into that. Obviously, that's just part of the experience. But obviously, that's, that causes its own stresses and,
depression, major depression,
and impact that has, on whether he had, your mother around or not, and the support structure and, all that impact.
Yes, I think it was very, very hard for my father being male, and he was very active. He used to bushwalk a lot. We all did. So, there was a lot of stuff that he could no longer do, and that's very, very hard. It's been very hard for me to deal with too, because I was always very active. So,
And then that happens, and then obviously you've gone through a very traumatic experience with your older son, and then that, as you said, is the trigger, and that happened, I think it was 10 years ago. So then
30 when I was 37.
And so then, how's the last, what's it like being in your position, and the last 10 years, and just how that's played out for you the last 10 years?
It's sorry if I get teary.
I totally
back on it. It's pretty full on. It happened so very quickly. It really did. By 2015, I was having to fundraise for my first wheelchair. And that one I was in temporarily, like I could still use a walker within the house, but I had to use a wheelchair out of the house. But then by the next year, I was fully wheelchair bound. So then I had to fundraise again for the chair I'm in now, which is $22,500 worth. So.
Oh wow, they're not cheap, are they? I didn't realise.
They're very, very, very expensive, and it's very expensive needing all this kind of equipment and treatment and help. It's quite stressing mentally, financially, physically, emotionally. Very, very much so. Very much so.
And then obviously the impact that has on your immediate family. Experiencing this beautiful, vibrant mother and wife that's been active and whatever else.
My grandson is 5.5. I started to use function down my right side when he was born. So it meant I wasn't able to hold him or feed him, things like that. So that was really, really hard to deal with. And I have my granddaughter's on the way, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'll be able to hold and feed her.
Be part of that. That would be,
Yes.
obviously beautiful. And so then how, if we go into, how was it that Healy came into your life? What was it that you saw, or was somebody told you about it?
Yes, well, I have I'm an intuitive energy healer myself, because I spent so many years just searching. I learned many different modalities.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And, developed a lot of tools myself. And that has enabled me to get to where I am now, and to be able to, change my thought process and pattern, and be in a better headspace. It's been very important. So, and within that, I met a lovely person in one of the modalities I learned, and she recently, only a month ago, introduced me to the Healy.
Yeah.
And my first session was a distance session.
Yeah.
And it was very, we were both sort of rushed at the time, so I wasn't really sure. I've had a lot of distant energy sessions.
Yep. And
so I'm aware how they work, and I wasn't really sure whether this would, because we weren't really focused. So I was like, oh, whatever, we'll see what happens. And we were both very busy, but I'd been doing a lot of my inner work, as I said, and being able to get rid of my electric hoist to get me in and out of bed, from my bed to my wheelchair. This was before the Healy. And then I'd gone from the electric hoist to the manual, and I was using my manual hoist. And then when I had my distance session the next morning, I woke up and I thought, I reckon I could use my walker. And I did use my walker.
Oh, wow.
And I've used it ever since. That was a month ago.
Wow. And how long had it been since you used the walker, previous to this?
4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
4 years.
What do you think is actually going on? So what's happened in the process that you think has, been able to, show that shift?
Yeah, well, I think there's a major realignment and rebalancing happening within my body, within my cellular structure. As we spoke about the trauma, I've been doing a lot of inner work, especially since Christmas, and had even more sort of unearthed trauma that I was unaware of,
Oh, okay, yes.
And since that, I really think that has released a lot of blockages. Yeah. So now the Healy is just doing amazing things, because I've released a lot of those trauma blockages and returning to balance. That's the way I see it anyway. That's my experience with it. I feel a lot more mentally balanced. Yeah, a lot more grounded. I feel a lot more confident.
Yeah.
And a lot of hope. And that's a big thing with MS, with chronic illness. We're never given hope. It as soon as we're diagnosed, that's it, pretty much. In my experience.
Yes.
And and it's very, very hard to keep your spirits up when that's all you get.
Yeah, there's as you said, there's little hope to rely on when that's the message that's getting sent to you. So you've had a distance session, and then have you got the device that you're using on a regular basis now, or is it still just by distance?
Well, I got my device about 2.5 weeks after that.
Yep.
I had to wait for the postage and everything. I was quite nervously waiting. But of course, the next day when I woke up to that, I was like, right, I need this. I have to get one for myself. So I got one, ordered it straight away, and I didn't have another session until I got my own unit. Yeah. And one thing I've noticed with the Healy is that the rebalancing that I'm experiencing is accumulative. So even if I, with the first session, I had a session at that start at the beginning and then didn't have anything for 2.5 weeks, that still held me.
Oh, in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It held me in that balanced space, which is a massive, massive thing in MS, because if you go backwards really quickly, or if something triggers you, you can be triggered, flared up, and get into a relapsing state, and encounter more symptoms, and those symptoms can then stay. So it's a big thing that it held me for that time. And now that I've got my own unit, and I do it I love to do about 3 sessions a day.
Yeah.
And I do 2 sessions with the resonance, because I have the resonance model. So I do usually 2 of the sessions. I'll do the recommended program groups, whatever
it says.
Whatever it says at the time. And usually on the 3rd one, that's usually sort of when I'm chillaxing after dinner, I'll pick one. I love the gold cycle ones. I love pure. Pure release, care, and being. I love those. I find them really good for me after dinner, when I'm just trying to settle down, or even if something's happened and I'm feeling a bit anxious, I find care is really good for that.
It's like an internal little hug, or a little, like comfort, or you feel.
For me, it's like it almost feels like the feeling I get when I meditate, but sometimes you're not in that space where you can go and meditate. So I was a bit like it last night. I had a lot going on, and I thought I need to meditate, but I couldn't. So I stuck care on instead.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. So what, obviously you said, so you're now using the frame. So for people that, obviously that's a huge step. That's something that's, that was something that maybe, it's been 4 years since that was, possible. So, how does that shift what you're able to do on an everyday basis? Just that.
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal, really, because it means that I'm regaining core strength. So I'm now able to sit up on the edge of the bed balanced.
Without I can kind of leaning on something, or
without having to, usually my husband would have to pull me up and hold me so I wouldn't fall backwards. And if I lost my balance and fell backwards, then my whole body would go into rigidity. So I'd be like a plank. And I'd spasm. So now my muscles, my whole sort of internal being is a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, wow.
My main symptom was muscle rigidity and muscle spasms, and that's what was stopping my movement. That's why I'm in the wheelchair. Yeah. And it was causing massive amounts of chronic pain, nerve pain.
Yeah.
And brain fog, fatigue, anxiety.
Yeah, there's so much getting played out, with either you want to do something and can't, or just the limitations when you are, as you said, in that kind of rigidity where you just can't get what you want to kind of happen.
Yeah, and because you feel like that, then you get more rigid, if that makes sense.
Because then all of the nervous energy or...
so you're so upset and frustrated, then you put yourself into more rigidity, and it was just a vicious circle with me. And I'm finding that the frequencies from the Healy really stop that in its tracks. They rebalance my central nervous system, and they calm me down. So then my body is then able to hear the signals.
Yes.
Because it's been so long that my muscles haven't been getting the signals. And I find that now that I've having this regular rebalancing, when I make movements and I can feel a spasm coming, if I think about it and continue my movement really slowly, I can circumvent the spasm.
Oh wow, that's a great step too, that you've been able to be I don't know if it's the right word, but have some sense of a little bit of control over it, where you're actually get into a place where it may not play out like it would have, say, prior day, whatever else.
And I think that's all about that vibrational frequency. Like, because my system is a lot calmer now, I'm tuned in more and I can sense what my body's doing more. So whereas I'd normally, when I could feel the spasm on, normally my body would go rigid, and because it was scared and think it would have to brace itself so it wouldn't fall.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, to stop me from, having a fall or injuring myself. Whereas now, if I pull back and just continue moving but go slow, I can come out of that, and it's very empowering knowing that I can do that myself. Very, very empowering.
Yeah, just like I said, the word control, but maybe the word is empowering, because then you have this way to actually have this sense of power over yourself, that you're actually able to, have a say in what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is
because for so long I felt like I've had no say as to what's been going on within my own body. Like, like I've just been trapped in this shell that has not been able to do anything. Yeah.
And so it's been it's probably been a couple of weeks now, it feels like, since you've been using it.
Yes. A month all up, but a couple of weeks since I had my own unit.
Actively being able to use the device on a regular basis. And so have you had much of that rigidity in the last few weeks?
No, it's every day it gets better and better. I'm moving every day. I've got quite sore hip muscles today.
Is that because those muscles are getting like almost like a muscle, like when you've been sleeping too much?
My obliques and my hips.
It's a good pain, maybe.
It is. Yeah. No, I'm liking that pain, because I didn't even know they were still there.
How beautiful is that for you? What a that's almost teary, like that's a beautiful thing for you to be.
It is. All these muscles that I'm feeling now were dormant and atrophied. That's why I'm so underweight now, because I've lost all my muscle mass, but I'm getting sore now, so that means I'm actually using these muscles. They're waking up.
Yes.
And I'm getting stronger.
No, that's incredible, really. There's and I guess there's a few different options that you can work with, because there's the nerve program, there's the muscle program, there's the regeneration. As you said, all the gold cycles are really beautiful cycles for the inner nourishment.
Yes, I find the deep cycle is really good too.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, that one comes up quite a bit for me when I do the recommended scan, the deep cycle. And I love the fine flow. That's really good.
Yeah. That's the kidneys. What is that? Something specific that's going on there, or it's just?
Well, no, not that I'm aware of, but that has come up a few times. The kidney female, that has come up a few times when I've done the scan. I do have a little bit of muscle pain in that area, more so than kidney issues. So I wondered whether, trying to suss out what that means there. Wondered whether it went to that, because I do tend to, I'm weaker on my right side I had experienced partial paralysis, so I tend to dip into my right side, and that muscle near my kidney can get quite sore.
It's getting kind of overworked or whatever. Compensate or something.
Yes, but now that my core strength is returning, I'm finding it easier to sit up straighter and more balanced instead of dipping off to the side.
Yeah, amazing. That's so good.
And I can stretch without going into a violent reactive spasm too.
Which part are you enjoying in all of it? Which part's giving you the most hope, or what's the, what do you see when you say hope and joy and happiness, which is what you shared with me in terms of just the text to include in this, where what's that, where's that coming from?
I just feel so much more mentally stable. And I think that's given me the strength physically and emotionally to push my body too, if that makes sense, to keep going with this. And because it's quite, the movement I'm doing is great, but it is hard. You know, my body hasn't moved in this way for quite some time. So, you know, I'm doing the hard work rehabbing.
You're relearning the whole movement.
Yes. Yeah. But it's awesome, you know, because I feel a lot more empowered. I think that's the main thing. Like I said to you before, just I feel so more empowered, like I've taken my control back, because when you're dealing with a chronic illness like this and you're not given any hope, you just lose all control. You have no idea what to do, or you know who to turn to, and it was very, very hard too in my position, because I'd seen it at its worst. So yeah, it was hard not to switch into that. You know, I've had to work very diligently with my thought process.
With your father, is that what you mean?
Yes, yeah, I've had to work very diligently with my thought process to not slip into that depression myself. Because I've experienced it from both sides.
Yes, especially looking at your father during all those years, for sure.
Yeah, so I've experienced it as a child, looking at their parent as well.
Yeah,
which I think has been, you know, a godsend in a way, because that's given me the strength to keep going for my children.
Yes. Okay. Yes. For them. And so, you know, this has been this is not just a small little thing that's happened in your life. You know, this is in saying that it's only been a few weeks. So, you know, I'd almost be interested to hear back in, you know, 3-6 months and kind of see, you know, where you're at and how it's kind of making a difference, and, you know, the different bits of impact. But from somebody who, you know, obviously I don't know how connected you are to the MS community, but, you know, for them to be seeing you in this way, what message would you like to share with them? Because as you said, once you're in that kind of understanding that there is nothing else to turn to, you know, what message, I guess, would you like to share with others that, you know, might, you know, be able to hear what you have to say?
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to say to anyone out there who is dealing with MS, with an illness like this, or who has just been diagnosed, there is hope. Please don't give up. There is hope. There's other alternatives. You just need to inform yourself, and that's a big thing. You need to do a lot of research. I've done many for years, lots and lots of research for years, and yeah, the best thing is to be informed, and then you can make informed decisions that, you know, that help you on your wellness journey. So just please don't give up, and don't feel there's no other option. There's many other options, even though we're not really given many when we get these diagnoses.
And would you be comfortable for people to, you know, connect with you and ask about, like, that have maybe there's people out there with MS that, you know, might want to have
for sure. That's my passion. Really love to help people at whatever stage they are, you know, in this illness, or, you know, dealing with this challenge. So just to let them know there is hope, and there's things we can do, you know, to help manage the symptoms, and just return quality of life, because that's a big thing. You know, I've spent, you know, nearly a decade just in the dark night of the soul, so to speak. And you know, and it is a bit hard at the moment too with the current happenings, because everyone's feeling the isolation, and I'm really feeling it too, but I've also lived that for nearly a decade.
Wow.
I haven't been able to get out into a car, you know, or leave my house for a couple of years. So, you know, I've been experiencing this, what's happening in a certain way, for a while, and that's quite hard too. So, I think we just really need to give each other love and hope.
Yeah, beautiful message. I'm so grateful to have you, you know, share your story and just, you know, be an inspiration, not just for the MS community, for others that are going through all sorts of painful or traumatic or just life experiences in general. You know, this gives everyone an opportunity to be inspired by you, and it was certainly one of the reasons why I was like, you know, I wanted to get in contact and just say, hey, I think just, you know, let's hear your story. People need to hear and be inspired by your story and see that there is something that, you know, I don't know where it's going to take, you know, no one's got any guarantees, but if it gives any, as you said, freedom or control over what's going on, then, you know, that's an amazing step in itself.
Oh, definitely. It definitely is, because I'd say I'm definitely in a lot better space than I was 6 months ago.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, mentally and physically. Yeah.
And that's, you know, it almost is, as you said, it kind of comes hand in hand with, you know, that as the condition progresses, it's like, you know, it's hard to maintain the sense of hope and positive.
Exactly.
Alluded to earlier. So, yeah, beautiful to have you come on, and super grateful that, you know, whoever's meant to see this will see this. I know, you know, it's always going to be watched by the right people at the right time.
Yes, yeah, I'm more than open to help anyone. If people would like to get in touch and would like to know a little bit more about the tools, the wellness tools I use, and how I use the Healy, and I'm happy to help anyone. You know, give some guidance and just share the joy.
You're so beautiful and so loving and so caring, despite
everything you're
going through. It's such a, I don't know how it would be to be in your position, but you're still giving and sharing and giving hope to others. And that's a really beautiful quality that, you know, I wish more would benefit from experiencing, like yourself, in the sense of being the light for others, which certainly you've got your own stuff going on, and to still be in that place, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. It means a lot, because I love people. I've always been a people person. You know, I'm getting a bit teary. I've always been a people person, and because of the condition and my isolation, I've really missed interacting. So I'm really enjoying interacting as well.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful to you, and I can't wish anything but everything that's possible that can happen to you. And just please keep us across what's going on, and look in 2 months' time or 3 months' time or sometime, let's reconnect and re-engage. And I'd love to hear how, you know, wherever it's taken you, on whatever path, whether that's, you know, whatever is meant to be. But if I can only wish you all
it's pretty amazing. I've just been approached by one of my mentors in the US to use my testimonial in the Tapping World Summit. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Wow, there's some light in all that's gone on, so that's, you know, that's a blessing.
It's very excited to work closely with her, and Jessica Ortner as well. So
wow, that's a good name to be part of.
Yes, I'm quite excited about that.
So I wish you all the very best on everything from a day-to-day basis, with all these potential opportunities that sound like they're happening. And, you know, like, your story is a beautiful story, and it's not the end. And, you know, there's more and more and more awesome stuff to come for you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for today's opportunity. It's been awesome.
Oh, no worries at all. And thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Anita. She's from Tasmania. And please, if you feel a need or a call to reach out, please do. I'm just blessed that you've come on and shared, and I know many people will be inspired by your story.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Be here. Bye.
Bye.